Leftovers. This episode is coming at you a little late. I had a computer issue when it should have been up, and the episode that I had already recorded got deleted. And so in fixing everything else, this kind of fell by the wayside, and it took me a little while to get it back up and re-record it. But so hopefully I don't know that it'll be as good as it was the first time, but we will roll with it. If you haven't listened to the episode that this goes with, it's going to be Sunday Brunch episode number 14, I believe. You can find all episodes, including that one, at secretstageproductions.com/Sunday Brunch, or you can check it out on YouTube, Google Play, Stitcher, or iTunes, whatever you really prefer. However you choose to listen to it will do. I wanted to do things a little differently today. Recently, I had someone write to me on Twitter and ask about what rules I have for interneting, for lack of a better word. And I thought about this for a while, and I kind of came up with a list, and I wanted to share that with you in case it was something that you were thinking about. There's a lot of frustrations on the internet right now. Tempers are running high. It's hard to know what to say to people when you disagree. Things like that. So for me, I kind of have these rules in place to not only keep myself in control, but to make sure that I don't start anything that's unnecessary or say anything that I might regret or anything like that. So I have 4 rules that I try to stick to. Maybe you have different ones. Maybe you'd like to implement these into your own rule book. And if you have any input or any changes or anything to add or anything like that, I'd love to know what you think. So just tweet me at tipsy_writer, or send me an email at megan@tipsywriter.com, or you can go to my website, tipsywriter.com, and there's a way to contact me on there. I would love to know what your rules for interneting are. But anyway, here are mine. Number 1, do what you can to not make people feel like they aren't included. One of my rules for creating this Tipsy Writer community, and then which has evolved into a podcast, things like that, has always been to create a community where everyone feels like they matter, like everyone feels like they have a voice and like that voice matters, like they're not being judged, and just that they're included. I think that there's no real value in excluding people, and so I like to do what I can to make sure that everyone around me feels included. And I know that's far easier said than done, but if you just make the effort to make people feel like they matter, like what they think matters, it doesn't matter if you agree with them or disagree with them, or if what they say offends you. There's a time to stand up for yourself. There's a time to keep your mouth shut. And remember that even when you disagree, other people are entitled to their beliefs. Number 2, don't start drama unless it's clearly a joke. And this can be hard sometimes, especially when you feel provoked or you see something that you know is wrong. Often in these cases, it's just best to keep your mouth shut. People are going to believe what they believe, and they're going to think what they think. And some people are going to be more outspoken than others, and that's just the way life is. But protecting yourself goes a long way. And although it's not always what we want to do, sometimes just not getting involved is best. So say you see somebody spouting off about something that you know is not true. You can go off on them and tell them about how wrong they are, but chances are you're not going to change their mind. They're just going to get more angry, and you're going to get more angry, and nothing's going to become of it except for feeling angry. So don't involve yourself in drama. Don't start drama. If it's a joke, make sure that it's very clearly a joke. But internet drama in general only spurs real life anger. Number 3, don't be nosier than you need to be. Sometimes we go looking for things that we don't actually need to know. And sometimes those things that we don't need to know will make us angry, and they'll make us doubt a friendship with someone, or they will, change the way we see things. In general, we are better off not going looking for those things. And it's tempting to do it. It's tempting to go and say, oh, I wonder what this person's going to say today. I wonder what controversy they've stirred up. I bet I could say something to them and make them feel bad about what they had to say. If we had just minded our own business and not worried about what other people were doing and thinking, we wouldn't have that anger. We wouldn't have that temptation to go off on someone, and we'd feel a greater sense of personal peace. I know a lot of people have gone so far as to delete social media from their phone apps because they felt like when they had downtime, they were going onto social media and they were getting involved in things that they didn't need to be involved in. I'm not saying not to scroll through social media. This is how I make my living. I actually don't want you to do that. But do what you need to do to not go looking for things that you know are going to make yourself angry. There's no real point in being angry when you don't have to be. And my last rule, number 4, don't get pissed at others for being who they are. As I said earlier, people are going to be who they are. People are going to think what they're going to think, and you're not going to agree with everyone. And in a way, if you can look at it in this way, that's what makes this world beautiful. As much as some people might disagree with that, I'm going to stand by that belief and say that our differences keep things interesting. Our differences challenge us and they help us to grow. And our differences feed off of one another. And they make us stronger in the end. If we were all good at the same things, or we all thought the same way, we might not actually get very far. But when people disagree, let them disagree. You don't need to be the bigger person. You don't need to start anger and drama that brings you unnecessary strife when you could just acknowledge it and move on. And I know this is hard, and I know that there's a time to stand up for yourself, and a time to say something, and a time to fight back. And I think my message to you here would be that when that time comes, you will know. And you'll know your place in it, and you'll know what the right thing to do is. But if you go looking for drama, or you go looking for trouble, trouble finds you, and often best if you just stay out of it. So those are my rules. I would love to hear your input and your own rules and to know what you think. Again, you can tweet me at tipsy_writer. You can reach out to me at megan@tipsywriter.com. You can visit my website at tipsywriter.com, or you can go to facebook.com/tipsywriter and you can find me there, although I don't spend as much time there. So if you want an immediate response, I recommend Twitter. Anyway, thought I'd try that this week. Don't know how it went. Maybe let me know. Let me know if you want to hear more other things other than questions. Hear me ramble for a little bit. The whole point of this spin-off audio journey thing that I do to accompany my normal podcasts, Sunday Brunch with Megan and Chris, is to make sure that I get to everyone's questions. During that podcast, I answer your questions that you, the listener, have sent me. And unfortunately, I don't always have time to get to all of them. But they're all fantastic questions. I want to make sure that I can get to all of them as much as possible. So that's what this is. So I'm going to answer some more questions that I didn't get to. This week, I asked for you to send me your questions on exercise. And here's what I got. Question 1 is a multi-question thing. How much do you bench? I don't know, but I like to sit on benches. What's your fastest mile? Very slow. CrossFit or regular gym? I've actually never been to a CrossFit gym. I know that they work for a lot of people, but I also know that they tend to spur up drama. That's a controversial statement for some people. I tend to just go to a regular gym, or actually, I tend to find workouts outside. I like biking, I like running. I do go lift weights at a gym, but anyway. Favorite shoe to work out in? I actually pretty much only ever wear the Nike Flyknit Lunarlon 3s, the Nike Lunarlon Flyknit 3s. Those I am pretty sure have been discontinued, but I tend to go toward Nike with the Lunarlon sole and a Flyknit sort of build. I find that they comfort my feet in great ways. I also have some arch issues. I'm very flat-footed. I get arch pain very easily, which ends up hurting other places. So I'm picky. I've tried a lot of different shoes. These are what works for me. I recommend just finding out what works for you. This person also wants to know if I'm annoyed with their questions yet. No, I never get annoyed with your questions. Next questions. Do you train abs? If so, what's your ab routine? I don't know that I specifically target my abs when I work out. I'll do sit-ups and planks and stuff like that here and there. I don't have a dedicated ab workout, but if you have one that you swear by and you think it will get me a six-pack by next week, I'd love to hear it. Next one. If one of your everyday activities was secretly an exercise, what would you choose and what would it work out? I would choose a full body workout from sitting, because I do a lot of sitting. I work on a computer 90% of the time. I will tell you that I kind of, I guess a while back decided that I would try to make my work as active as I could. I have a bike desk, which is just a stationary bike with a desk attachment to it that I can bike while I work. That also doubles as a standing desk, which I use sometimes. I like to stand, but I tend to do a lot of stuff that I can kind of record on my phone, ideas and brainstorming and even writing things. I can kind of record that on my phone, so I will go for a walk. I'll pop in some headphones. When I have an idea, I will record it or type it out right there. And I find that being out and walking or biking and stuff really gets ideas going, so I really enjoy it. What is your most embarrassing gym story? And if you've never been to a gym, when have you felt the most stupid working out? Okay, I've been to plenty of gyms, so we'll go with that. I remember in high school, during the summer, I wouldn't have a whole lot to do, so I would take my mom to work first thing in the morning, and then I would go to the gym. I'd usually follow this up by donuts, which is a terrible idea, but I was in much better shape in high school, so I guess it didn't matter as much. But I remember one time being on a treadmill and running, or walking quickly. I was on a treadmill going fast. And my headphone fell out, and I went to grab it, and I completely busted it and went flying back into the wall. And this lady ran over and was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine," and tried to play it off and got back on, but I was pretty defeated. I don't know if it was that embarrassing, but it was a bit strange. Next question. What keeps you motivated to work out? And how do you get better self-control to cut bad stuff out, like soda? Cutting bad stuff out's not... I work on a reward system usually. I don't drink a whole lot of soda. I'm not a big fan of carbonated things, so that's not that hard for me. I love sweets. For me, I just don't keep them around. The more I can't have them, the easier it is not to have them. It's really just as simple as that. What keeps me motivated to work out? One, I enjoy it. I find that I feel better when I do it, and I often use it as a break. And I think that's what really helps, is at a certain point in my day, I say, I'm kind of ready for a break. I can't focus. I'm not done yet, but I can't focus. And so I'll say, okay, I'm just going to go for a walk, or I'm going to go to the gym. I have a gym in my building. I'm going to go to the gym for 30 minutes. And then after those 30 minutes, I come back and I feel like I can kind of finish off the work that I needed to do. So I use it kind of as a natural fit into my schedule, and I say, I I don't want to work anymore. And so the only way I can rationalize not doing that work, but allowing myself to not work, is if I do something else that's productive and good for me. So that's how I work it in. Last question. Do you exercise your right to party? And I say always. Minus the fact that I tend to like to stay home, keep to myself, hang out with my dog. Yes, always exercise your right to party. Anyway, that is all that I have for this week. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully if you didn't hear your question answered on the podcast this week, then you did here. If you haven't yet listened to the episode that this is accompanying, I highly recommend you go and listen to them. You can find them on secretstageproductions.com, secretstageproductions.com/Sunday Brunch. And you can also listen to it on YouTube, Google Play Music, Stitcher, and iTunes. Until next time, I hope you have a fantastic week.